Hopefully at the end of that exercise, you'll feel comfortable running simple experiments. So this is a two-part session. So in the morning before lunch, we're going to do a really simple experiment similar to what Nikki showed you. And after lunch, we will do something similar but using different tools. So you get a feel for the different tools you have in GENI. What are the benefits of what's good about each tool? Okay. But before we do that hands-on, I will talk about a few GENI concepts. Nikki already mentioned them this morning. I'll reinforce them, and then we can do the hands-on. So while this is being set up, you can bring up a browser. Your Chrome or Firefox work best, and log into the GENI portal. So you can do that so we save time when we get to the actual hands-on.
Someone destroyed the pin. The pin's completely broke off the other cable. This cable's not working. I don't know why. So everyone switching off earlier today has broken the cables that we laid yesterday. So could you go through this second because
Sure. Are you looking for a place to sit? Okay. The same tutorial is also happening in Suite 1, 2. I don't know if there's room there, but come back here if it's full. Yeah. Sorry about the delay. They're having projector issues. It's, take this off. Let me see. Hey, Rahina, or you have a no? You don't have a Mac. He wants to try a different dongle, a Mac dongle. Let's see. Does Luis? Do you have a dongle? No, a Mac. A Mac adapter, VGA adapter.
Yes.
Okay.
I have one.
Yeah.
I have it in my bag.
Okay.
I don't have one.
You don't.
Where I put my, oh,
You don't have one what?
that's it. These are two more.
Okay.
That's it.
Disclaimer forms.
No, this is disclaimer forms.
Okay.
This is it for the tutorial.
Okay, I need a set for myself.
And then hopefully that's a complete set because I wasn't sure that they looked complete.
Yeah, it doesn't look complete, but thank you. We'll try it. Well, here's a different dongle if you want to try this.
I'm running out of options.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah. And just so sorry. Oh, instruction. Oh, you're sitting. Go ahead. Oh, you're getting one of those. Let me see. I need this. Let me. Here you go. There's a lab 0, and you need one for lab 1. So you also need instructions for lab 1. I'll get you some. That's for the afternoon. I'll get some later. I think we need some. We're out. So there are multiple things in your handout. The green are instructions for the exercise we'll be using before lunch, so this session. And accompanying the instructions is a worksheet that looks like this. So these are for writing notes like that are specific to your exercise. So for example, your login ID and things like that. So these two we will use this morning. After lunch, we will use the instructions that are in pink, I guess, and a different worksheet. So when I say instructions, I mean this thing. When I say worksheet, I mean this one-page form. And as you can tell, I'm stalling for time. What'd you do? Dear. Oh, why'd you do that? I need a story like you. Yeah.
I've tried 3 different cables, 3 different dongles. It's gotta be your computer.
Well, we can try a different computer. I don't know.
I've tried 3 different cables, 3 different dongles.
Okay. Well, the computer thinks it sees two displays, doesn't it?
No, I mean, there'll be arrangement.
Right. That's right. Okay. Yes. So it used to see two, and when in fact. Yeah, now it's not seeing two. It was seeing.
Yeah, I've tried 3 different cables, 3 different dongles. So it's gotta be a computer.
So when I first plugged it in, it saw it would in fact change the resolution because it saw both. Then I don't know what. Should I reboot? Maybe I should just reboot.
At least put it on standby, not definitely reboot.
Pardon?
At least go into standby, it's not directly reboot. I mean, the computer's gotta be initialized.
Okay. So you think standby is in?
Sleep might work. It might just put the computer into a mode, into reinitializing the peripherals. Just a second to go in and out.
Hang on here. Just gonna.
Still think it's sleeping.
I'm just gonna do a hard reboot. Turn it off.
I can't tape this down right now, so you just don't walk here.
Okay, that's fine. I don't need another broken ankle. Yes. So while this is coming up, is everybody logged into your GENI portal account? Yep. And then on your projects tab, do you see that you're a member of the GEC19 project? So on the portal, go to the tab labeled projects, and if it tells you you're not a member of any project, you need to join the GEC19 project, and the instructions to do that are on your worksheet. On page step 2.2 on your instructions will tell you. So many of you were added to the project ahead of time. If you were not, just apply to join the GEC19 project. Great. Still booting, okay. So if anybody is not a member of the project, please let me know. Raise your hand. Yep, you're not a member. So when you go to the projects tab, do you see request to join a project? There should be a place to request. Still booting.
Usually take this long?
Sorry?
Does it usually take this long?
Do I usually what?
Does it usually take this long?
Yes, it's 3-year-old computer. Seems to be taking a while, but suppose I can.
Yeah, I'm using mine to monitor all the screens. What?
One is going through the exact same session right now that we're live streaming.
Yes, yes, it's the exact same.
Yeah.
Well, if you've got the presentation up,
See, it's the presentation, but I also have the tools and things installed. So,
You want to go grab my laptop on the cart?
it doesn't have the tools and
I
things.
can
In.
just play the other presentation when I get started.
Okay. Yeah. Let's. Okay.
I mean, you can wait.
Yeah. Let's wait a few minutes. And is it? What's going on now? Oh, it's logging in. Okay.
just to see if it's
Okay. Sure.
something
Yeah.
more set
Sure.
up somewhere.
I think because we did a hard shutdown, it takes longer to
It's
boot
gotta
up.
be mixed so there's other files.
Files. Yep. Exactly.
Using provides
Just need to
consistency.
check that. Yep. What time is it? I don't really want to think on my phone. Okay. Not bad.
Rebooting again.
Why is that? That's weird.
Not a good sign.
No, it's not a good sign.
Do you have any pending software installs? Anything?
Nope. Nope. I'm sorry. Oh.
I was going to try to see what the projector was the problem. Definitely a computer, but I'm using all my ports.
Oh. Okay. I may just try to. So, Luisa or Rahina, I might need to use one of your laptops for the presentation. It's, I don't know what's going on with my laptop. Oh, we have a dongle. We'll just give mine a few minutes and. There, we're just going to give it. Is it still? If this doesn't work, I'm just going to let me. Why don't you boot it up and download the slides onto there from the website, and then we'll.
I see a cursor.
Okay.
Second.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Progress. Leslie.
Yeah, it was farther than last time. But, it's had a bunch of apps open. It's one of the reasons why it's taking a while to log in. That's not a good sign.
Wait to stay bad graphics.
Okay, that's looking better. Should we try it?
Everything stops loading, yeah.
Okay.
Ready?
It's still loading, but I think it should be okay.
Trying to do something.
Okay, that's good. The slides. Ah, very good. Okay, good. I think so. Thank you.
Okay, let's make sure you can get it.
So the resolution. Okay. I don't care about that. It's got the. All right, finally. Thank you. Thanks a lot for your help. We're in business. So, assume everybody has done this. So, anybody not at this step? Okay, good. So, this is called Lab Zero. All the instructions and slides are already on the web page. So, you can, especially when you do the tutorial, it's handy to have the instructions also in a browser so you can cut and paste so you're not doing a lot of typing. So, if you go to the GEC19 agenda page, and on the GENI wiki, and scroll down to the session and look for the instructions. That is handy. So, as I said, we're going to do a very simple experiment. You are going to do it this time. Reserve 2 virtual machines from a rack, a GENI rack, and connect them at layer 2. And then you're going to do a simple experiment. So before you do that, you need understanding of these basic concepts. You already seen the GENI portal. You've logged into that, so that's great. What the portal essentially is it's an easy way to get started with experimentation. You log in, you can launch tools. One of the problems that we used to have with GENI was keeping all your keys and certs with the portal. The portal does that for you and hands your certs and keys to the tools so they can act on your behalf. So it really simplifies experimentation with GENI. The tool that we'll be using today, this morning, is called FLAC. It's a graphical tool. After lunch, we'll be using a command line tool. We'll start with FLAC because being graphical, it's easy to use and learn. So concepts, an experimenter, essentially a person running an experiment on GENI. There are different kinds of experimenters having different roles. So for example, an advisor may have a different role than a graduate student. We'll see a little more about the differences. Or if you are teaching a class, the teacher might have a different role than the teaching assistant versus the students in the class. So the roles define what they can and cannot do in GENI. All work in GENI is organized as projects. So a project is essentially your research project. A project could be, you create a project for a class you're teaching, and you, as the lead of a project, are responsible for everything that happens within the project. So you decide who can join your project, and if somebody does something bad, you're the person you will ask questions about. So projects organize research. Everybody here is part of the GEC19 project. We did that to keep it simple. After you leave, you can create your own projects, assuming you have the. I'll talk about that. Not anybody can create projects. Projects contain people and experiments, and project is led by a project lead. Oops. So, oops, I'm going the wrong way. Oh, sorry. What's going on here? Okay. All right. So GENI portal. We talked to the portal. In common. So some of you. I don't know how many of you, but probably did not could probably use your university credentials to log into GENI. Anybody here could do that? Just pick your university. Yes. So the way this works is there's a federation called In Common. It contains a large number of US educational institutions and some other non-educational institutions. And they agree that in this case, your university is vouching for you. You log into the university system, so and all it sends, the information it sends to GENI is the fact that you are indeed, this is your email address, this is your name. That's the information we get. So that's good enough for us, that because your university has essentially vouched for you. If your university is not part of In Common, we have our own identity provider, the GPO identity provider. You can apply for an account there, in which case we are vouching for you, and so we would need some additional information about you. So another important thing to remember as you do as you do this exercise today, and as you use GENI, is when you get a resource, a virtual machine or a bare machine, to log into it, you use SSH. So how many people have used SSH before? Okay, very good. That's excellent. So SSH, and the key difference between GENI and some other SSH setups is we do not use passwords. Everything is key-based. So you have your SSH private key and an SSH public key. When you get a resource, we install your public key in that resource. And so when you SSH, you need to specify your private key. And that's how the login happens. If you ever get prompted for a password, something went wrong. And we will talk about what kinds of things might have gotten wrong later today. So no passwords to log into resources. It's all SSH and key-based. Another thing to remember is we talked about projects. You can set an expiration for your project, because let's say you're running a class. You don't want to be responsible for what happens to what people do in this project after the class ends. So you might want to set an expiration for the end of the semester. Right? Projects have expirations, and that's optional. If it's a long-running research project, you don't have to set an expiration. Projects have slices. So as you might have been told this morning, slices isolate experiments. So every experiment lives in its own slice. So if you are a student in a class, you will have your own slice. So all the students in that class will have their own slices, and those slices would belong to the same project. And slices have expiration times, which you can extend. And then within slices, you have resources. So these could be network resources like links. These could be virtual machines. And you have a lease on the resources, meaning they expire after a while. So again, you can extend the lifetime of your resource. You get a virtual machine, you typically get it for 2 weeks. If you need to use it longer than that, you need to go manually extend the lifetime. Okay, and you should get an email before it expires saying it's about to expire. Sometimes spam filters don't let those through. So this is something to remember. We'll come back to this because this is a common source of problems. People forget that their resources have expired and say, oh, what happened to my resources? Well, they expired and you lost them. So what's a resource? A resource is a piece of the GENI infrastructure that belongs to your slice that you are using for your experiment. So a resource could be a real resource as in a raw PC, meaning you can ask for a raw PC and put any kind of software on it that's part of your slice, and you can run your experiments on it. Or you can ask for a virtual machine. There are a lot more virtual machines, so if at all possible, use a virtual machine. You can do almost anything on a virtual machine that you can do on a raw PC. It's only if you're doing some really important performance studies that you might want a raw PC. Okay? So today's, all the experiments we do today will be using virtual machines. Okay. And oh, I forgot to say, please don't hesitate to interrupt, ask me questions anytime. Please don't hesitate. So resources, we'll learn about RSpecs. You probably again saw a little bit of that this morning. They are ways of describing resources and requesting resources. These are examples of resources, PCs, virtual machines, VLANs, Ethernet VLANs, open-flow switches, WiMAX resources. Here's a word that you will hear a lot is aggregate. An aggregate is essentially resources managed by an organization. So for example, the GENI rack at the University of Utah, it's owned and managed by the University of Utah, but they've made it available for you to use for your experiments. So that's an aggregate. You can go to the aggregate, get resources. So there are GENI racks at multiple campuses around the country. There are also aggregates that were test beds that existed before GENI, such as the EmuLab test bed from Utah, Planet Lab test bed from Princeton, Orbit test bed from Rutgers. So they're all part of the GENI Federation, and you can get resources from there. So they are aggregates. So here are examples of aggregates. WiMAX base stations are aggregates, open flow switches. Slice, it's an important concept, so you're going to see this again and again. Essentially, it's a container for your resources. Your experiment lives within a slice. And slice names are public, so choose them carefully. And reusable, so if your slice expires, you can use the slice for a different experiment. Or even if it doesn't expire, you can delete all the resources in a slice and use it again for a different experiment. And in fact, that's what we'll do today. The first session this morning, we'll create a slice, be done with the resources, use the same slice, but done a different experiment this afternoon. So just to put it all together, we have a project. Project has a project lead. There's one project lead, typically a faculty member or a senior researcher. And there are projects have members, so students, TAs. And then a project can have multiple slices because you could have different people on the same project running different experiments. And then a slice has resources, computers, network resources. So what happened here? Okay, that's better. All right, so that is it for the introduction. What I'm going to do is just demonstrate the first part of the exercise you're going to do, and then you can do it yourself. We have Louisa and Rahina. Rahina's back there, around to help you. So as you run through the exercise, if you have any questions, raise your hand, and one of us will come and help you. So what I'm going to do is launch my browser. Oh, that's why. All right. All right, this is annoying. I need to mirror my displays. Lost my mouse. Oh, much better. Okay. Now I can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to Chrome. So I'm going to the portal. So I am going to use I'm not going to use my regular GENI account, I'm going to use a temporary account. So you see exactly what I see. So you are probably ahead of me since you're logged into the portal. I'm going to do that right now. So I am, you probably saw this when you. Okay, Josh? Yeah. Will you please add me to the GEC19 project? All right, thank you. GEC19 U47. Oh, sorry, I should join the project. That's why. I'm going to pick GEC9. Too far. GEC19. There. Okay, so my join request went to Josh back there, and he is going to. He's going to add me to the project. So. You don't. Ah, I didn't send the join request. That's why. Okay, thank you. So if I go back to my home page, I should now see I'm part of the GEC19 project. So as I mentioned earlier, the very SSH you need we use key pairs, SSH key pairs to log in. So before I can do anything with any resource, I need to generate my SSH key pair. So if I go to the profile tab, I have and select SSH keys, I can have the portal generate SSH keys for me. So I have two options. One is I can generate the key pair on my machine and upload my public key if I don't really trust the portal to keep my private key. But the easy thing to do is have the portal generate an SSH key pair for me. It's going to be ask me for a passphrase. And so all the keys used in GENI are protected by a passphrase. So that way, even if somebody gets your keys, they cannot use it unless they use your passphrase. So the keys have been generated for me, but they're still on the portal. If I want to SSH from my machine, I need my private key. So I'm going to download that. So I go back to my profile and download my, if I go there now, it has my keys. So I want to download my private key, and it's gone to my downloads folder. Okay, and now I want to move the key to my SSH folder. So I'm going to go to a terminal, which I hope you can see there, right? Okay, good. And I'm going to move this key from my downloads folder to my .ssh folder in my home directory. And SSH is very picky on permissions on the key. If the world can read your private key, it won't use it. So I need to make sure the key is not readable by the world. And right now it is. So I need to change permissions, which is why I'm just going to change mod 600 ID. Oops. Plus. Okay. So now my private key is only readable by me and not the world, so SSH will actually use it. So I'm kind of set up now, my environment, I logged in, I have my key. So now I'm actually ready to run an experiment. And of course, you don't have to do this key setup every time, just once. Once it's set up, you're all ready. So I go back to my projects. I have only one project, GEC19, and the first thing I need is a slice. So I'm going to tell Genie, please create a slice for me. I'm going to call my slice lab0. So I think that's a suggestion we have for everybody for now. Just use for your slice name lab0 followed by your initials. We don't need a slice description, and we create a slice. So creating slices are easy. Right now it's just an empty container, nothing in my slice. If I want to do anything interesting, I would use a tool such as FLAC or Omni to do things to it. So in our case, we're going to use FLAC, which is the graphical tool. So what FLAC is going to do is come up and find all the aggregates, all the resources available to me. So while mine is coming up, if you want to go ahead and get this far, you're welcome to. So create your SSH key pair and create a slice and launch FLAC. So if you're wondering where I am on step. I just completed step 3.1. Are most people here at this step? Okay. Anybody not here at this, like not launched FLAC? Okay. Need help or? Okay. All right. Go ahead and generate private keys. Yeah. Launching FLAC takes a little bit of time because it has to talk to all the aggregates out there, find out what resources they have. So that's what's going on now. Well, I also forgot to mention John Durig in the Protogenius t-shirt there from the University of Utah is also available to help. And he is one of the authors of the FLAC tool and currently maintains it. So if you see any FLAC bugs, he's the guy to talk to. Or if you like it, he's the guy to talk to. Okay, we're almost there. So we know FLAC is ready to use when see the little spinning wheel up top up there. So while it's spinning, you cannot use it. Once that stops spinning, then FLAC is ready to use. Anybody need help? Okay, good. So are most people launching FLAC? Is that where you are? FLAC was a lot faster to launch when we only had few resources in GENI. Now that we got lots, it has to talk to every one of them. Okay, it says get slices completed. So FLAC is ready to use now. So just to balance load here, we are different ones of us here are going to get resources from different aggregates. Your worksheet will tell you which aggregate. So I am going to get resources from the University of Clemson, the GENI rack there. So I'm going to find Clemson. And I want 2 virtual machines from there. So I go to Clemson and get 2 virtual machines. So be careful to pick resources from the same aggregate, so whichever one is in your worksheet. Your worksheet is this one-page thing that came with your handout. So you got stapled instructions and a one-page. It should say Lab 0 on top because there are 2 worksheets. Make sure you're using the worksheet for Lab 0. It should say right on top. Okay. So there'll be plenty of time for you to do it. So why don't you just watch me do it, and then you can do it on your own because you'll have plenty of time. So what I did was I got 2 virtual machines. I'm going to connect them up with a link. So I just hover over the VM, and then once I get this line, I click and drag and release. This is a little tricky. The trick is don't click till you get the green line, then click. Keep your mouse button down till you get to the other VM, and then release. And otherwise, the link will disappear on you. So I've connected the 2. To get information on the VMs, I can change the names. I can set IP addresses. I click on the little I button, and this tells me I have a virtual machine. I'm going to call this client because it's more descriptive than just VM. And I can do things like pick an operating system to load on there and things like that, but I'm not going to do that. We'll do that, I think, in a different tutorial. You'll learn about picking operating systems. Just going to use the default, which is Fedora. And if I want to specify an IP address, I click on this link that looks like the chain link. And I have one interface. Remember, I have these 2 virtual machines with one link. So the 2 computers are going to have one interface each to connect the 2 together. And I can specify an IP address. If I don't, I'll get a default. So I can specify IP. Let's see. Which is I'm going to do 10.1.1 and the mask of 255.255.255.0. And then I'm just going to apply these changes. So what I've done is change the name of my one machine to client and set an IP address and net mask. I'm going to do the same thing for the server. For the other one, I'm going to call this server. Set the IP addresses to 10.1.1.2 this time, and the same mask. And apply. So what we have done so far is gotten 2 virtual machines, connected them with a link, specified IP addresses. They're both on the same subnet, and now I'm ready to. So far, I don't actually have the resources. I've just drawn a topology. I haven't asked for resources when I click submit. Now my tool, FLAC, is going to go to the aggregate, in my case, Clemson, and ask for 2 virtual machines configured this way. Okay? Do you want to go try this? So make sure you pick the aggregate on your worksheet. So we are, I'm sorry? Right, the IP addresses are on the instructions, but they're also on the diagram on your worksheet. If you look, it has the IP addresses on the, if you have your worksheet at the bottom, there's a picture that has the IP addresses. And we are all going to use the same IP address. Since we all have our own slices, we are isolated, and so it doesn't matter if we pick the same IP address. Any questions? Is this making sense? What's going on? All right. Oh, no, I'm sorry? Oh, okay. I thought somebody had a question. So what we're waiting for is for the resources to get ready. What FLAC has done is asked Clemson for 2 virtual machines. The aggregate at Clemson is now in the process of allocating these resources for me, loading the operating system, and preparing the network interfaces and so on. So when it's ready, the FLAC screen will turn green. This is kind of a yellow. It looks kind of greenish here, but when my resources are ready, the screen will turn green. And having trouble? Okay, there. There you go. You're fine. Set up. Okay. Click on the eye. Click on the eye. No, yeah. And yep. Then press submit. Press submit. Yep. So when you first draw the topology, it's just setting up your request. It's not actually sent it to Clemson. When you press submit, it's gone. Yep. No, it's handling it. Yep. It'll eventually. Oh, mine's turned green. Okay. Eventually, your FLAC will turn green. So while you're waiting for that to happen, so it's turned green. That means, in this case, at the rack in Clemson, I have 2 virtual machines connected the way I asked. And what we're going to do now is actually log into one of these virtual machines and see what it looks like in there, how the interfaces got set up. So I have just finished step. I finished step. What am I? I finished. I guess I'm starting on page 9 of the instructions. So I'm going to one of the nodes, the one called client. I can SSH from a command line, or I can just go to the I button on FLAC, the same I button you used to configure, and you'll see 2 buttons, visit and SSH. Click on SSH. It'll have the browser launch a terminal for you. So it's going to launch an application, and with this case, the terminal. And it's trying to log me in. SSH asks, is it, doesn't know about this machine. Is it okay to connect? I say yes. And I'm logged into my machine called client at Clemson. So this is my username. This is the machine name. I'm in my home directory. Okay? So it's that easy. I got a resource. I have root access to this machine. I can do things that only root can do, which you will do in your machines. If I look at, okay, let me wait for everybody to get here first. Are we waiting for FLAC to turn green? Okay. Oh, all right. Since that's going to take a little while. What I'm going to do is actually run ifconfig. Are you familiar with the ifconfig command? What it does is it's used to configure interfaces, or see the interfaces on your computer. So if I just, it's been, okay, so let me make this a little bigger so you can see it. So it tells me I have 3 interfaces, which is kind of odd, isn't it? We have 2 VMs connected by 1 link, so you'd expect to see 1 interface as opposed to, there's one's the loopback, which of course all machines have. So why did I get 2? Well, the answer is, one is my data link interface. So the one with the, which has the IP address I specified, that is the interface that connects to the other virtual machine. This interface connects to the control plane of GENI. So when I SSH'd in, I had to come in through an interface. That's this interface. So this interface is connected to the GENI control plane, which is connected to the internet. So if I wanted to send traffic out to the internet, it's going to go out of this interface. Whereas if I want to send any traffic to other nodes in my experiment, I would want to send it through my data plane. Okay, and that's what we'll. If you look at the worksheet again, at the bottom there's a picture that explains this, and I have slides also. So you got your two virtual machines. This is on your worksheet, the one-page worksheet, and the data plane interface connects the two virtual machines, and then there's the control plane which takes you to the internet. Okay? Any questions why we're seeing two interfaces? All right. I'm going to open up another terminal into my server. So I now have two terminals, one connected to my client, one connected to my server. And your exercise asks you to do things like ping from the client to server on the data interface and the control interface. So I'm going to let you go ahead and do that. Log in. Hopefully your VMs are ready by now. Log in, ping the different interfaces as done in your exercise, and then I'll go back to some slides and we'll discuss why you saw certain behaviors. Okay, so go ahead, ask questions. If you have any trouble, raise your hand, and we'll help you. It's still loading? Yep, that's fine. It just takes a little while. Which rack are you on? Clemson? Yep, okay. Yep, that'll good. Yep. Just a minute, I'll be back. Yeah, okay. How do you, no, you cannot, you wait for it to expire. You can't delete a slide. You can delete resources in the slides, but you cannot delete. It's a matter of debate about should it be, yeah. It's not politics, it's more how people use it and how people think, yeah. So. But they're reusable. You can, but yes, the name may not be suitable for another purpose. Yeah, yeah. You can always create another one, though. Yes. Ooh, okay. Did you? That should not happen. Okay. Did you change the permissions on your SSH? So. Okay. No, it's. Which one is the key? Okay, yeah. Oh no, 400 is fine. It's just you who can write it, so the 4 should be okay. You change it to 6 now?
It was 6. I changed it.
Okay, 6 is what I did. 6 should be fine. Okay, you did an SSH add, and okay, that's. Okay, what's your SSH command? No, how did you SSH? What was the command you used? To SSH. Did you do SSH?
I hit the SSH link.
Oh, okay, do that again, please. Launch. Allow. Okay, so. And you created your SSH keys before you reserve the resources?
Yeah. Before I opened Flag.
Before you open FLAC, you create, okay, you open, okay. Okay, how about let's SSH from a terminal. Let's control C out there, and then yeah, just okay. Do SSH a dash. You don't need a dash I guess you already did SSH add. Go back to Flag so I know your username and. Okay, yeah, defeat. Yep. So just yeah, choose select everything up to the dot. Yeah, choose the whole thing, and then change that to a dash p. Yep. Okay. Control C. Let's try to give a path to the key SSH dash I. Tilde. Are you in the? Okay. Your private key. A link to your private key. The one that you downloaded from the portal. Or did you download the public key or private key from the portal? You should download your private key. It could be. Ah, yes, that's why. That's why. Oh, no problem. I'm sorry? Yep, yep.
So I'm using PuTTY to connect with SSH.
Okay, so PuTTY will, you have to first, PuTTY uses a different key format than OpenSSH.
Okay.
So you have to use PuTTY Gen to change your key. You have to download and install PuTTY Gen.
Okay.
Um, the easiest thing for you to do now might be, yeah, okay, do you have Bitwise or anything? Okay,
No.
okay. PuTTY Gen,
Okay.
yes, you'll have to download that. Um, and then that'll have instructions to somewhere to.
Generate a key.
No, but you can.
Load an existing.
Yeah, and then let's see if we can find it.
But I think it would it be in that format or the format would be different.
See, I'm not that familiar. Okay, just cancel. Sorry. Okay, just load your
Yeah.
private. Okay, just load it. See what it says. Passphrase.
Okay. So
Okay, foreign key. You need to say the to put in Paris. Okay, now how do you say?
private.
Um, yeah, and what format do you pick?
It's a
Okay, yeah, pick the format.
it's only this format. It's PuTTY.
Oh, okay, okay, yes. And then you should be able to, yes. All right.
I don't know how to set up an SSH key in Windows.
Oh, okay. Do you have the SSH, do you have Bitwise or anything installed?
I have no.
Okay. So you want to install Bitwise. If you, there are instructions at, if you go to the GENI wiki page, just open up a new tab and go to the GENI webpage, www.geni.net first. Just go to GENI wiki, and then GEC19. Yep. And then if we have, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, where are the instructions? Give me a second to think about. The instructions are not posted here. Um, let me. Did you get the email from us about pre-work?
I've been so busy. I've been
Okay, that's fine. If you go to that email, you will find the instructions
for installing SSH keys on Windows.
for installing Bitwise. It tells you where to find Bitwise. Yep, which is the. If you don't have if you don't have the email, let me try to pull up the website. You found it? That's okay. Sorry. Yep. Uh, so, okay. So now you should be able to use that key and putty to connect. Okay, to find which host name, go to your, go back to FLAC. Okay, you got it right. Port, and the port was something else.
But it's still asking me for the password.
And where do you specify the private key in putty? Do you have to, I think you have to select a private key. Close, yeah. So in putty, go now and specify a private key. Um, authentic, I think you click auth. No.
Attempt this authentication.
You need to, maybe it's not authentication.
User supply library.
No, it's, no, it's, there is a way to specify. See, I don't, okay. Why don't you go to Google search and do specify, putty specify, putty private key or something like that. Key, yeah. Yeah, there you go. So putty, oh. Profile, okay, so what do you have you do, SSH? No, this is not talking about that at all. I don't know where. Okay, there, okay. Keybase SSH plugins with putty. Yeah, page 2 is probably what you want. Keep going. Generating, okay, you can use putty to create. Okay, we don't want to do that. Putty key generator, yeah.
We say the private key.
Yeah, okay, yes.
Say private key, yeah. Then copy the public key from producer.
See, the public key is already on the server for you because we installed it there. Page 3. Yep. Okay. Attach the private key to the putty profile.
SSH authentication and click on browse.
Yep. Okay, try that.
Otherwise, it may just be your username has a Unicode character in it, and we don't support that at Emulab, unfortunately.
Just making sure. The visit on
No, well, it never got
on
created.
Slack
You
when
just
they have
hit
the visit
refresh.
SSH.
Yep.
That should not work.
That
Is
should
it
work.
On Windows?
Oh, on Windows it won't work. No.
Okay.
Yep,
No,
Windows it
that's
won't.
what I'm
That's right.
calling
Yes,
it.
yes. Going all right? Okay.
I've cheated before I came here.
You're an expert. Yeah, I know. You don't even
No,
need.
I'm not an expert,
Yeah.
but I got the SSH.
Yeah, no, that's good. Well, you've done this before, haven't you? You've done this before, haven't you? No? Oh, okay. I thought you had.
No, but I have the two machines and I run into some problems with SSH. But it's not genius.
Okay.
Just because I know my students will do it.
You might try.
Logged in? Yeah, both of them. Okay, great. Anybody not logged in? I know you're not. You're in? Oh, very good. Okay. Anybody not logged into your resources? Okay, after you're logged in, are you able to ping the different interfaces? So from the client, ping the servers. So each, I'm sorry? You can use the, yes, you can use the names. But if you use the name, it'll use the data plane interface. If you want to control whether it goes over the internet to the control plane or over the data plane, let me get to the slides. We'll talk about that. That'll be easier. All right, so if you're logged into the nodes, let's do a really simple experiment to understand what's going on here. Right, what time is it now? We are at 12:06. Good. So log into your client and ping the. So the server has two interfaces. You can claim. You can. Sorry. You can ping the server's data interface, or you can ping the server's control interface. Why don't you ping both? Make sure you can. And then if you want to do some performance tests, you can actually download and install iPerf. I don't think we'll do that today, but you could. You have root access. You can install any software. So just see if the pings work. And then I'm going to do a little like demo for you and talk about the different interfaces. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm at the server, and I'm going to ping my client's client. My client is at. So these pings that I'm doing are now going from. Okay, here. Right. So I'm at the client. I'm pinging the server. So those ping packets are going across the data plane. If you're running an experiment on GENI, you probably want your data to go on the data plane because that's reserved for you. That's a layer 2 link. You can turn off IP, for example, on that link, use your own protocols. But you don't have to do that. You can use the control plane, meaning you can send traffic from here over the internet to your server. Obviously, you have less control over the traffic here. It's going over the internet. Also, you might be bandwidth limited, and you're stuck with IP. You cannot run any other protocol. So I'm going to just show that. So let's see. We have delays of about 0.35, 0.6 milliseconds. I'm going to go to the other interface, which had the IP address of 172. So, so this is going over the internet. The pings are going over the internet to like this way. If you actually did iPerf for some such tests, you'll find that you probably get more bandwidth here than over the control plane. Just apt-get, just like, yeah. Just, is it apt-get or is it, let me see, you have a Fedora, and I think the instructions tell you it's Fedora, it's probably yum, yep, yum install. So what I'm going to do now is, now we get to the quiz part of the tutorial, of this tutorial. So I am going to go and turn off one of my interfaces, okay? So notice I could ping, our pings could go from this way or this way. I'm going to go to my client and turn this interface down, as in like shut it down, and then see what happens. As you expect, if I try to ping the client, it should fail. So I'm going to the client, I'm root, so I can do that. Fig, ETH, this is the interface I want to turn down, ETH 10728. Oops. So that interface is gone. If I try to ping, it should fail. Right? Now I'm going to turn off my control interface and then see what happens. Which is control interface was 999. And what you will see is my SSH session disappear on me. Any guesses on why? I lost my connection to the VM. Well, it's because, well, anybody want to hazard a guess? Anybody want to guess? So what I did was I turned off this interface, the control interface. Right, I don't have connectivity to the internet now. So I'm trying to come from this room over the internet. I was SSH this way. We took this interface down, we lost the connection, I got booted out. Right? So never, the moral of the story is never ever turn off your control interface, because if you do, you've lost all connectivity with the VM. There's no way you can connect back to it again. It's gone. You have to essentially shut down your slice, start again. Okay? Data plane interfaces, you can do whatever you want. You can turn them up, turn them on, turn them off, change IP addresses, run whatever protocol you want. So that is, any questions so far? Okay. So that is essentially the exercise today. Yes? Yes, so we have few people party. Any Bitwise users? Okay. Yeah, good. So with PuTTY, you need to use PuTTY Gen to yep. Yep, very good. Yep. There's another client called Bitwise, which is also free, which uses OpenSSL formatted keys, so you don't need to do the conversion of key formats. But if you're using PuTTY, you need to convert. Yep. Yep. That's a really good question. So the question here is, I turned off the interface on my client. Can I get to this now through the server? And any guesses? Well, that's one option. You can install your private keys here in your SSH and then log in here and then log. But SSH has a nifty option -A, --A. So if you SSH from here using --A here, it essentially passes your authentication tokens here. So you don't have to do this manual copy. And then from here you can SSH directly. So it's a really handy thing to have. It just makes life easier, the -A option on SSH. Okay? So from your computer, your laptop, you can do SSH with the -A option to the server. And so essentially your authentication tokens get passed, and then from there you can SSH elsewhere. Right? Good question. So I was wrong when I said you lost this VM. If you still have your data plane connection, you can get to it from other nodes. Okay, very good. So the last important thing to do is delete your resources. This is a shared test bed, so we don't want them lying around. So go back to FLAC, and in FLAC you will see a button called delete. See this delete button? Just press delete, and that'll clean up your resources. And so while that's happening, I have a few more things to talk about, and then we will break for lunch and come back and do more. And hopefully, I haven't turned you off GENI, and you'll come back after lunch to learn more. So we did not do the iPerf, so we don't care about that. We did the experiments. So we did all this. Delete resources, we did that. Cleaning up, okay. Okay, so I just want to say a little bit about working with collaborators. If you're working on a research project, you probably have multiple people working on the same project or even the same slice. So just want to talk about how that works with GENI. So this is not hands-on, just little, just so you know that it's possible. You can have multiple people. You can have multiple people belong to a project, and you can have multiple people belong to a slice. All the people that are part of a slice can do things with the slice. So just here's a possible organization. If you're a researcher, you may have a research project. You may have a class project for a class you're teaching. There are different roles for people in a project. So you might be the project lead as an instructor. You might have TAs who are project admins who can pretty much do the kinds of things you do, like add other people to your slice and so on. And then there are project members that are students. And the students cannot they cannot add other people to their slices, and only the admin or project lead can do it. So that's how things are organized. So when you already went through the process of joining a project, you can either ask to join a project like I did, or you can be bulk added to a project. So when a slice is created, every member of the project automatically gets added to the slice. So the project lead gets added to the slice, the project admins get added to the slice, and they keep their privileges, admin privileges. So if you're teaching a class, you get automatically added to your students' slices. So if you're a member of a slice, you can do things like find out what resources the slice has. You can just launch FLAC and see what resources you have. You can renew resources and so on. Yes. Question? Two in your slice cannot have the same host name. Oh, maybe. That's yeah. Okay, that's what. But they have different ports, different port numbers to log SSH it. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So. Yep. 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 So. The portal knows about project memberships, slice memberships, and so when you create a slice from the project, it automatically adds those all those members to your slice. You can also use a tool called Omni, we'll see after lunch, to reserve resources, and everybody's keys should get loaded onto the resource. And that's essentially it for now. What time is it? Have we? 12:15. Okay, so we're ahead of schedule, which is great. Is there anybody who could not complete the exercise? You could not? All right, I'm happy to. No. We'll help you. We'll get you. Okay. Anybody else not complete the exercise? Very good. So as I said, when we come back this afternoon, we'll look a little bit on what's happening behind the scenes. Probably felt a lot. You probably felt like there's a lot of magic happening. You're drawing these pictures, and in the background, something happened, and you got these resources. We'll find out how it happened, and you'll use a command line tool to get a feel for behind the scenes with GENI. So, any questions? Okay. All right. I'm sorry? No, we'll do the feedback after the second session. Yep, so, yeah.
A reminder, if anyone hasn't given me back the license agreement that I give you to sign, please.
Oh, yes.
And the dongles.
Oh, yes, yes, and the USB sticks, we need that back also. All right. You back on track, or?
I'm so far off track, I'm not sure if I'm near the track.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
All right. Well, thank you, and see you after lunch.